Thank you for the warm introduction. I'm really excited to do this critique and kind of show you guys some new things that you haven't seen before. I'm really also excited to be paired with the other Eric, or Eric with a K. He comes with a lot more technical expertise, whereas I'm the token mega hipster here, so I kind of do the design side of things and kind of like the brand and the voice. So between both of us, we're going to kind of tag team and share our expertise and kind of give a little bit different perspective. So we're very grateful for the 4 people who took the time to submit emails, and we're going to get started with the 3-day blinds in here. So what would you say from a technical perspective, Eric?
One of the first things I've noticed about this email is good. Let's level set. There's nothing bad about any of these emails. Well, one, but we'll get into that. But from a technical standpoint, one of the things, they were one of the only people that submitted HTMLs, and the HTML mobile optimization is broken on this email. So if you're looking at this email, it looks decent on a desktop, but then when you look at it with the mobile code, you see that it gets cut off. So from a technical standpoint, I'd work on more mobile optimization for this specific email. One of the other things that I've noticed, and this is just me being a stickler, the color treatment from the text within the image and the body text is different. So you have like a dark black up here, you have a gray here, and then you go back to black here. So that's just some of the things, the inconsistencies that I was like, oh, that's interesting. So I'd be interested to know why the designer did it that way.
Yeah, I would, as we talk about design a little bit more, there's going to be a recurring theme from me with these emails. My critiques is like, what is the one message that you want to get? Like, what is the thing that you really want them to grasp to, and then how do you really support that one message? Everything should be geared toward that one message. But along those lines, from like a design perspective, what is that like one set of font family that you can think about? One kind of like design language that you can think about? And you can see like we have how many different types of fonts here? I don't know. I don't even think I can count that high because it goes higher than 10. So, when you think about design, try to lean on your design guidelines. If you don't have a design guidelines, it's going to be important to work with a design firm or your designer in-house to try to establish that consistency. Because when you start to build that consistency with your brand, then your audience is going to start to have that familiarity. And that confidence that comes along with that familiarity is essentially building trust through design.
The 3-day blinds designer. What were the main goals that you want to do? Because there are a couple things. On the top, you want them to book, and then on the bottom, you're recommending a sale of some sort. So I kind of get lost in what the overall goal of the email is. So if I think it's Sean from.
Sean.
Not to call you out, though. Not to call you out. I'm not calling you out at all.
I don't have to answer that question. My email designer's not here. She's not feeling too well, etc. On a high level, I think a lot of these designs are just trying to get a lot of creative out very quickly. It's easy to critique on the back end, and I'm not criticizing your critiques by any means.
Right.
But this poor girl has to do a lot of emails very quickly, and I think what she's doing is taking templates and just trying to switch them to get to the overall goal of that specific email. So the pet-proof one was, all right, we're going to take segmentations and break up what we presume to be statistically pet-friendly people and try and see if we can come up with more relevant content for them. So I don't think she put so much effort behind the design as she did try and come up with a message about pet-proofness or pet-loving and get it out to the right segment to see if engagement was up.
Yeah, along those lines, I'm also a big fan of progress over perfection. So like everything we do is iterative, and we learn and we build off of it. So we build that foundation, we build these templates that can work, and then once we have those established, then we know all the fonts are going to be good because we're just kind of plugging and playing.
Yeah, and I think these are very good suggestions. I'm actually writing them all down. We're in the process of redeveloping our website right now as well. And so in the concept of finding that brand message and using those guidelines, I think this is a great opportunity for us to grab that and say, all right, well, we should apply these same types of, mobile friendliness, unified fonts, cleaner colors, etc., to our email messages as well. Also, for the fact is that 3-day blinds really should have a clean design message. We are a luxury blind company. We are claiming to send out design consultants. If we don't get design right, our message is off, you know?
Right.
So it's very valid critiques, and we're going to work on it.
Yeah, kind of along those same lines from a design perspective on this one in particular, like, I'm a big fan of going back to that less is more, and it's going to be more impactful. So, like, scrolling up a little bit in that middle section, like, this is a beautiful photograph of the fabrics, but it doesn't really help the user see how those fabrics could look in their home. And then you scroll down a little more, and you do have a great example of, like, a setup, but it's a smaller image, and it's really challenging to see when it's half the email. So, like, think about how maybe we could eliminate the idea of columns altogether and just focus on a simpler message, to the point, more purposeful photography. And I think that's going to have more of an impact with your audience from a design perspective. But again, like everything, you A/B test, you see what works, what doesn't work, and I could be completely wrong, but that's an option for you to play around with in the future.
Cool, ready to move on? All right, next, wedding wire. So this creative, I think less is more, and it's very clean. It's pretty much single column for the most part, and there's a mobile optimization version of this. But I really think this is clean. I would probably add some images up on top just to kind of, it's a very important day. Somebody wants to get married. They want to see more images from the top. It's this icon. That would be my only comment on this one. But I'll throw it to Eric B.
Yeah, it was Heather, right, who gave the talk yesterday, and I think they had really important messages as to creating emails that are not just like promotional, but about how you bring value to the user and the audience, and how you can make it more about the audience rather than just constantly sending promotions. And they talked about that in the last talk right before us as well. I think from a design perspective, this is hitting all the bases where you have consistent, fonts and proper like headers. Is this the mobile one, or is this the?
This is the desktop. This is the mobile.
Okay, and then it breaks down nicely. I think from a, if I had to critique something, I would kind of echo what Eric said, and that the photography isn't really engaging. It's screenshots of a website are typically not going to be something that really draw most people to action. So it's more about like interacting with the results of the registry. So maybe like having a photograph of, what are they called, wedding parties? Registry parties? I don't know. I got married 13 years ago, so I've forgotten all those things. But thinking about like that single message or a couple of core messages and how that photography can really enhance like that aspect of building out your registry is what I'd say. But it is a very well-designed website that, from there it's just design preferences, in my opinion, and then iterative testing.
Cool. Sounds like we're going to move on to Lenovo's emails. You guys just heard from Marion. Truth be told, I'm a big fan of these emails. However, one of the things that I'm going to throw out there, and I might make some enemies, nav bars in the email. What is everybody's thoughts about that? Do you guys think that it's still a good practice, or by show of hands, does anybody who still includes nav bars in the email? Do you guys get good click-throughs on those? Yeah. Like extremely? Yeah. Interesting. All right, maybe I should use it in my emails. All right. There you go.
Polarity has just shifted in the room. Audience is now critiquing you.
Yes. All right. But like I said, I really like the playfulness of it. The copy is pretty awesome. And I was telling Marion earlier, these are just very playful, and I like that when it comes to a brand as old as Lenovo is. Mm-hmm. And just the imagery just pops. One thing that I would critique is that getting the call to action on here is way below. Just to let them know, hey, because this is their abandoned cart email.
Yeah, for me, I think when I think of Lenovo and I think about what you guys are trying to do in the marketplace and take on the entrenched, leader like Apple, it's what does Lenovo stand for? Can anyone in this room say what Lenovo stands for? I think the answer is probably not, right? With Apple, it's think different, right? You know the direction that Apple's going. And as a brand that's coming in and trying to shake up the space, and I know this doesn't really fall on the email marketing side of things, but what is that mission that Lenovo's trying to do, and how can you unite around that mission and tie that all into your email where you inspire people to live the life that's connected through the brand? Like, Lenovo's got amazing products, and a storied history, but people don't know that when you go to the website and when you look at the emails, because it's forgotten about. And I think that's a huge opportunity. I was looking on the website. The Lenovo logo has a black, it has a black background here, but it's red on the website. What's the consistency with that? So I think there's, again, a beautiful designed email. It's spot on, beautiful colors, it's bold, it's grabbing your eyes, but where's the soul behind it? And I think that's the opportunity that Lenovo really has, and then maybe your opportunity to take a risk is say well, this is what the Lenovo brand is, or our interpretation of it, and then how do we infuse that into the emails and make sure it's everywhere.
And not for nothing, Lenovo submitted about 10 different emails, so they're really proud of their work, which is pretty good. This is their loyalty rewards. Again, consistent design with the last one. It might have a different design from the website, but it looks like they're going in this more playful, colorful, image-heavy direction. Again, it's clean. I know exactly what they want me to do in this email, and that's one of the things that you have to look for most. But that's all I would really have to say about that one.
Yeah, my only question is, as we go through these, they're very colorful, they're bright, they're definitely following the branding guidelines, which is nice. I don't know if there's any kind of personalization going on with the photography, if you're shifting out the images based on who you expect the user to get it, because maybe a man versus a woman is going to appeal to the photography slightly different. So that would be an interesting A/B test that I would kind of be interested in applying and seeing if that type of photography, because you look, we can just kind of they're very female oriented, which may perform great for guys, because I know a lot of guys like to look at colorful photos. And there's plenty of them. So,
Marion, where are you? Do you want to talk a little bit about the responses that you're getting and the decisions behind some of this?
Yeah, so we have a little, it's working? Okay. The lacking in identity from, we'll just say the higher level creatives through to the website, through to the emails, and that's certainly one thing we're trying to work on as a company. Like I said, it's sort of an old manufacturing type company, so trying to figure out that identity. This is actually more in line with our sort of big picture brand ads, and the website is trying to catch up. But as far as the color goes, I was talking with the Erics earlier. We've got this amazing design team. It's out of Argentina, and so they are the ones that are managing the brand across it. And so they've decided to give our new loyalty program it's sort of its own brand, which is a sort of rainbow type of situation. But they're all very colorful, and we're hoping that the sort of playfulness of the emails with the color and brightness will sort of make us seem a little bit more modern than a more standard email. When I first started, the emails were not very jointed as far as brand, and were really dark and colorful, and I was told that that's the brand because Lenovo loves color and we don't want to be like the fruit and just have very white emails. So we're trying to find that balance between having too much color in there and enough personality that it kind of, again, stays on brand.
Yeah, I think the color is great. I don't think that's the issue. It's more of that voice.
Yeah.
That's the opportunity.
Yeah, and then as far as switching it out, certainly can try the different gender options, seeing how that goes.
Cool. So we're going from this really, really colorful email to the Banana Republic email. I have to, this email reminds me of like an old television show. It's black and white. This is their abandoned cart email. I'm sorry, I'm not a fan. I told this to you, man.
So, well, I mean, like, obviously, I like black and white. Like, I could like, I could like just live in black and white. And if anything's like black and white, I think it's just clean, it's elegant, it's timeless. But that being said, this cart, I think, has a lot of opportunity to improve and evolve. When I look at it, especially at the top, what am I looking at? You got this big bold box with a message in there, and then you got this hello there, and then you got the like, it's all very disjointed. It's like your eye doesn't know what to look at first, and it's all over the place. And when I think about abandoning cart emails, I think about the person and what they're going through, and how do we inspire them to take action to, you know, ultimately improve their lives. And what is the value that you give at Banana Republic that's going to help improve their life? You know, you look at the cart, they've got some items, some apparel. Obviously, you know, can you utilize data to learn if it's, you know, a man or a woman? You could be like, hey girl, you're going to look awesome in these. I know it. And if you don't look awesome, you know, we'll return it easy as possible. You know, what are the objections that someone would have to the buying process? And then just like foster that confidence and that decision-making process, and really show them that, hey, you made an amazing decision. These are going to look amazing on you. Like, well done. Go ahead and step up your style game, or feel great, or whatever your mission is, and tie that into your mission, rather than like, here's a coupon, because you get consumers in this trap of like, oh yeah, I just put in the cart and then I wait for my abandoned cart email and I save 20%. Like, you don't want to build your strategy around just discounting your product simply because you're desperate for a sale. So I think have confidence in your products that you know is going to add value to your consumers' lives.
Okay, and last but not least, was the same designer the guy that designed the last email? This is the longest email ever.
Yeah.
Let's just scroll through it.
Oh no.
All right, that's our time, guys.
I think like it's almost like when you go to Amazon.com and whatever, like the top products, and you just kind of scroll and scroll and scroll. I think it's kind of interesting. You know, you might have more insight from a technical standpoint, like by having all these links, does it like affect the deliverability and being able to appear in mailboxes?
Well, one thing that I have a question is this getting truncated in Gmail? Have you seen that?
No, actually, we make sure it fits.
Gotcha,
Size-wise.
gotcha. And what are the click-throughs? Like, are we getting click-throughs evenly through all the way up to the top to all the way down here?
Yeah, we've actually tested length of email, and especially for Old Navy, which is a very family brand, we do see a lot of behavior below the fold. So it's not random selection of content. We do a lot of kind of data mining and personalization in terms of determining our customers' primary, secondary, tertiary categories, divisions. So it's dynamically selected.
Got it. People, they smack me in the face.
Is this going out like every week, an email like this, or every day, or how?
Every day. Yeah.
Every day you get like a paragraph or an essay's worth of.
For the most part, very specific like promotions will be much more short.
Yeah.
But for Old Navy, it tends to be longer.
Yeah.
Now we have our other brands that are more kind of lifestyle tighter, like Athleta at Hill City. It'll be very short. So it's just a matter of what the brands find that work for themselves.
Got it.
Yeah, and when I think of the Old Navy brand, I do think of more of like the value-driven, kind of like more of like the consumerist type of mentality, where it's built on the promotions, built on the deal. So I can see how a strategy like this is going to be more effective than when we compare it to like a 3D blinds, which is trying to be more premium. it may make sense to tell more of that story with the 3D blinds about, why this is premium and what makes the material nice, whereas this is like, get your deal, get it now before it's gone.
Yeah, and I had a bit of ulterior motives of submitting these. So the Old Navy one, definitely, because it breaks the conception of you have to have stuff above the fold.
Yeah.
Depends on your customer.
Yeah.
And for this brand in particular, it works. Old Navy is very, very strong. The other one is just bad. I submitted this. Up until 3 weeks ago, we were split in terms of CRM between batch and lifecycle teams. I manage the batch team, so I was going to submit this to roast them a little bit. 2 weeks ago, my leader said, "Oh, Devin, do you want to take over the lifecycle team?" So I guess I'm roasting myself right now. So we've spent a lot of focus on kind of fixing some of our reach and customer resolution issues, trying to make sure that everyone that we could qualify to get ASC or browse or whatever get it. But we kind of forgot how our emails looked. We spent so much time focusing on the back end, we forgot about what the actual experience is. So this feedback's really good. If there's any good vendors here that can help us make this look better, please reach out to me, because this is just bad. Yeah, I agree with you guys.
I would argue that the Old Navy email is on brand in terms of the shopping experience at Old Navy. I know that when I go shopping there, I might have a specific thing in mind, but there's a discovery aspect to shopping at Old Navy that's also reiterated in the circulars that are pretty familiar. And I think that's actually that makes sense to me within the context of an Old Navy shopper. That you might have an enormous set of opportunities that someone would just be curious about, because that's what brings you to the brand.
I want to go back, circle back to the 3D blinds, only because I was able to talk to Sean beforehand, and I asked him, like, what is the mission for 3D blinds? And I think it's to provide like a premium, provide the highest quality blinds to as many people as possible, or something like that. And that mission is very product focused, and I know not everyone's in an opportunity to adjust the mission within your organization, but if you do have the ability to affect maybe a smaller company, like, think about a mission from more of your consumer standpoint. And like when I think of 3D blinds, I could be like, what is that value that you're bringing? You're bringing privacy, like, to a family's house, and it's just like, how do we, bring privacy into the home through beauty? Something like that, where that will give you more guidance for how you do the photography in the future. It's like, our mission is to provide this privacy through beauty, and then that's going to help us bring in that mission and that voice and what we're talking about. Because you're never going to be able to consistently send emails out that are like, we want to be the best seller of premium blinds. Like, no one's going to get behind that. But they're going to get behind what changes their lives and improves their lives. So, maybe talking with your leadership about opportunities on how you can evolve the mission to be kind of that level up from the product level to the lifestyle level.
Cool. I think that's all we got. Any more questions?
Questions, feedback?
Oh.
Yeah.
All right. Challenge accepted. All right. Oh yeah, you guys can definitely roast us. Come on.
Quip's got beautiful design. How do I just email you? Is that what I do?
Let's look at our. Hold on.
Are you subscribed to my newsletter?
Unfortunately, no.
Hello.
This is actually how I get people to subscribe. It's like, you want to see our
All right,
emails,
hold on,
you
let
gotta
me,
subscribe to us. I'm sorry.
I would like to ask a question.
Sure.
Hello, I'm Newt. I'm kind of an email UX nerd.
Yeah.
And shameless plug, I just tweeted a link to one of my articles on email UX. It's very long, so if you read the whole thing, I'll give you like $10. But what do people think about all image emails? Because that's what I mean, that Old Navy email, I know a lot of retailers do like very image heavy emails. And I did do B2C for a while, but I am a B2B marketer, and we just can't do all image emails. Mainly because Outlook users, but also for accessibility reasons, and then also like sometimes the images just don't load. So I just kind of wanted to get people's opinions on, have you seen any difference between all image versus trying to do like text image balanced emails?
For me personally, again, I lean towards the side of having a good text to image ratio. I agree 100% with you, but again, with my previous company, I was at a B2B where Gmail wasn't a big percentage of our database. We had a lot of people that were on Outlook. So I wanted to make sure that our design team had a good text-to-image ratio. That being said, all images for the Quip side of things, where we have a good big percentage of Gmail users, we are very image-heavy. We're very brand-focused. So like our emails need to kind of look like this. I mean, I just make sure that we're not using a lot of like we're giving HTML text instead of text on the images, and that's just our strategy. But again, it's how your universe is divided and what your business, what your entire customer base is looking like. If your customer base is Gmail oriented, then images are good. Exactly, and you have alt text and you have all that good stuff. All right.
Yeah, I think it goes back to testing, right? Everything's testing. So what may work for your brand, your company, may do terrible for another brand, another company, because of the audience you're going to, Outlook, stuff like that.
Right, but in a test, you could potentially find... Hello. In a test, you could potentially find that an all-image email would win if you were defining your test success by, for example, revenue,
right.
But then you're leaving out an entire segment of the population that needs the text for accessibility purposes. And then sometimes, alt text, making sure alt text and other aspects of your HTML are accessibility friendly is good. But if your entire email is image, that it's really hard to just describe everything just using alt text.
Yeah, I mean, it's those are decisions in business that there are no right or wrong answer. It's kind of where you have to have faith in how you want to serve your customers and where you feel more empowered to try to create something for everyone, or to like feel confident in knowing that, hey, we're going to miss a piece of the market share, but ultimately it's for a stronger, healthier company because it does perform better and it provides better experience for those who can engage with it. So I think that's the fun part of business.
Eric T., I have a question about your email and the design policies at Quip. How much do your emails need to reflect and project and stay consistent with, say, the way we're experiencing Quip through the social media channels in all of your paid advertising there? One of the things that I notice here that's different is the color palette, which can almost make your tiny product disappear, whereas I identify Quip as having a product that visually really pops in your advertising.
Well, this specific, answer your first question, yes. Our brand team makes sure that all of our designs are consistent. I actually might get in trouble for showing you this email because this launches tomorrow, but this is the limited edition pink line. So we're releasing different colors. We're partnering up with a lot of different charities. Like we have Product Red type toothbrushes. We have an all black that donates to the the Global Relief Fund. So this hook you guys up. But like you said, this is kind of a one-off email because we're doing something different with a limited edition color. We're not going to release this again. So this is kind of what our email looks like for launch tomorrow. Again, I critiqued myself on this one too because truth be told, we're still on MailChimp and we're doing things very weird. But like for me, the button is too small. It's way below the fold, but our audience actually responds more well to these product images than any other email that we've ever done. And we've tried and we've tested many different things. But for the most part, showing the product has been what moves the needle most for us in emails.
Yeah, and I just forwarded you a couple of our emails. And I think going back with these criticisms is we all have opportunities to improve, ourselves included. But we take a very different strategy with ours. We tend to be more text and story